Welcome back to another episode of Sports Den Podcast, and I have a special guest with me.
Hey man, y'all know it's Cam. Cam the sports guy on TikTok. And I've known this guy, Sports Den, aka John, for a long time. So let's get into this content.
All right, y'all know what it is. It is Friday, but you'll probably see this on Saturday. So, with that being said, let's start off with my little rant. College game day. Choosing to go to Pittsburgh and Notre Dame over Alabama, Oklahoma, and Georgia, Texas screams that you guys just want to cater to everyone needs, saying that you are biased to the SEC. We'll have 2 words for you. No, actually 3. I don't care. Because why are we going to a Pittsburgh Notre Dame matchup where there's no playoff implications? Whereas in Alabama, Oklahoma, playoff implication. Georgia, Texas, playoff implication. So when I see that, I say to myself, please don't ever do this again, because we're probably going to see better games on the ESPN platform. That's all I have to say. Let's get into these matchups. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
All right, first matchup, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame.
Hey, I feel like, coming into this matchup, it may not seem like, when you look at it on paper, it may not seem that it's going to be the best matchup possible. But I think, like, this can really turn into a competitive game, at least for majority of the game. I still would go with Notre Dame to win it, but I don't think, like, they're just going to go out there and just straight up dominate and just steamroll Pitt. I think Pitt is going to be able to show a little resistance, but all in all, I think, with Carr and Jeremiah Love, I think it's just going to be a little too much for him. I ain't going to lie. And, to your point, for Pitt, we all know how the ACC is, so it could have some implications but it's not a conference game, but I don't know if it'll be something that could, allow the committee to put more eyes on Pitt if they do beat a Notre Dame. But yeah, I think Notre Dame, it'll just be too much to handle for Pitt.
My thoughts exactly. So for the Notre Dame and Pittsburgh game, I truly believe Notre Dame will win by 10 plus.
I do believe that as well, yes.
I think Jeremiah Love will run for at least 150 yards. I think he'll get 2 touchdowns. I think C.J. Carr will play a very clean game. I don't think he'll turn the ball over. I think he'll throw for over 200. I think that Notre Dame wins pretty comfortably. I think once they take that lead, I think that they'll make sure that there will be no mishaps of them giving up the lead or them even having a tie game going to the later parts of the game. So now, you got score. You say, what's your score prediction for this game?
For my score prediction, I believe I'm gonna go with 30-17.
I was about to say 31-17. Okay, so we're on the same way. Same page. Okay, next game up, USC versus Iowa.
Hey, I laugh, but this is really gonna be a great matchup between, like the tier 2 teams of the Big Ten, in my opinion.
Okay.
Obviously, you got teams like Indiana, Ohio State. They're in that tier 1, and I guess, you can try to squeeze Oregon in there, but it depends on the day. But, Iowa just had a great game against Oregon. They almost pulled off, the upset. If it wasn't for a fantastic throw by Dante Moore, then who knows what would have happened. And USC, they've also been trying to make that late push to try to potentially put in a bid for themselves to be within the CFP race. So this is really going to be a good game. But all in all, I know Iowa is, they're known for like that stingy defense, but I just like the firepower that the Trojans bring, and I have them like squeezing out this victory, especially with them being at home.
Score prediction?
Score prediction, I'm going to go USC 28, and I'm going to go Iowa 23.
Okay, my score prediction, USC 27, Iowa 17. So I think that USC's offense will do more damage because we saw how in due time I was gonna give up a big play. And I think that USC has the playmakers to make that big play, which is Makai Lemon, Jacoby Lane. I think those players are first round draft picks. I think those players are going to make first round draft pick plays against the Hawkeyes. And I think that USC will have the makings to make sure that they'll leave this game with the win. Now, second game up, second to last game up, Alabama versus Oklahoma.
Hey, those SEC games for tomorrow, that 3:30 and 7:30 slate, those have the potential to be games of the year, especially when it coming towards the end of the season. When it comes to Oklahoma and Alabama, however, we know Oklahoma, we still have a respect for them. They're going to be playing for their playoff lives because after taking a bad loss to Texas at the time with Mateer, in which many believe that he rushed his recovery and coming back too early, and then that next week they lost to Ole Miss, was able to, get a big win against Tennessee to stay alive and virtually knocking out Tennessee. But I feel like, the run it's going to potentially come to an end. And I think it will come to an end because as much as, I hate to say it, I think, Alabama, they're going to make the SEC championship. I mean, it just seems like regardless of what happens, it's going to be them and Texas A&M regardless. I have respect for Mateer and Oklahoma. I kind of wish that Mateer never injured his hand because I feel like this would be a different ball game. It'll be closer than what it already would be tomorrow, in my opinion. Maybe Oklahoma could have took the game off of a field goal or something, but I think Ty Simpson and that offense and that defense especially is just gonna find a way, especially with them being at home and it being their homecoming game. So I'm gonna go Alabama. I'm gonna go Alabama 27, Oklahoma 14.
14? Nah. I think Oklahoma will show more fight because their defense line one of the better defensive line in the country.
Yeah.
I think they'll have times where they'll pressure Todd Simpson into eradicated throw. I think that Todd Simpson, even though he'll have some bad throws, I think the way he throws the football and the way he places it in areas to where only his receiver can get it, I think that Alabama receivers will have a chance to show their playmaking ability and show that they are one of the better units, one of the better wide receiver units in the nation. I think that Todd Simpson, this game can push Todd Simpson back into the lead for the Heisman.
Oh, it definitely can, yeah.
And I think that Todd Simpson will do that. And I think that they at Alabama, they don't chase individual awards, but I do believe that this individual award, it means something to Todd Simpson. And I think that he wants to put forth his best effort against a former Heisman lead, a person who was in the lead for the Heisman in the early parts of the season.
That's crazy to say because Mateer, he was balling before he injured his thumb. I mean, Oklahoma was I think the highest ranked they were. They were within the top 10. They were like 7 at the time when he got hurt, or 6 when they played Texas. So I mean, if Mateer doesn't get injured, like I said, this could be not only a different ball game, but a different landscape of the conference.
Yeah, and I do believe that Alabama, if they can't run the football, they'll be in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they'll find some ways to incorporate different ways to get the run game going, and I do believe that they'll win. I believe the Crimson Tide will win 31-28. I think it'll be a close game. But I think they'll be ahead double digits, and then Oklahoma will score a last-minute touchdown. But I think those efforts will be too little too late. Now, for the big one.
The main event.
The night game in Athens, Georgia. Georgia versus Texas. 2 words. Legacy games. Which quarterback will have a legacy game? That will be the team that will win. Because Arch had his doubters in the beginning of the season. Now, as of recent, he's been playing very much better and playing with more confidence. You can say the same for Gunnar Stockton. Had his doubters in the beginning of the season, been playing very well throughout the season, and now we'll see. In a game like this, where it's going to mean a little more to both teams to where they want to prove something to each other because Georgia went undefeated against Texas last year. Georgia took the SEC championship from the Longhorns last year. I think that still stings within that locker room. And I still believe that Georgia wants to put an emphasis on just because you're the new kid in town and think you're all big and bad, they still want to show that they still run the SEC. So whichever quarterback can have that legacy game, that team will win. And I do believe it will be the Georgia Bulldogs because having the home field advantage that night in Sanford Stadium will be key because Texas ranks 127th in penalties. So being on the road in a hectic environment, I think penalties will play a part, and I do believe that Georgia will be the more disciplined team, and we'll see which quarterback will do it, and I think Gunnar will have the capability to do it better, and I think he will. I think Gunnar will throw for around 250 yards, throw for 2 touchdowns, run for 1. I think Noah Thomas will have a breakout game this game. I think Noah Thomas, we saw a glimpse of it at Mississippi
State, yeah.
That catch and run, being 6'6", being that fluid of a runner, shows that Georgia will put him in more catch and run scenarios. Nate Frazier having a day last week with over 180 yards. I think that trend continues. Not 180. I wish. I hope so. But
hey, that'll be if he get 180, then
20 plus.
They blowing out Texas. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I do believe that this game we'll see more of the tight ends getting involved. Watch out for freshman tight end Elias Williams, 6'7". Had a fade ball early in the Mississippi State game. I think we'll incorporate him more. Zachariah Branch will be Zachariah Branch. He'll have 8 receptions, 80 yards, 90 yards, maybe even a touchdown. But do believe that Georgia will get it done. And I do believe that they will make Arch rattle and Georgia will win 34-24.
That's a nice breakdown. Hey man, this is a very important game, of course, for both teams. I mean, Georgia, of course, is more so for Texas, but it's still important for Georgia because you want to be able to show that you can beat these teams that are considered to be amongst the top of the SEC, especially when they come to your home stadium. Obviously, we know how things panned out when Alabama came to town in a primetime game, so they want to avenge that, knowing that they're playing a team that is trying to get in the playoffs and stay in the playoffs. I mean, obviously, as of right now, Texas is projected to be in the playoff and have a first-round matchup against Ole Miss, in which I think if that was to stay the same, they would have a lot of problems with Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. But I believe Texas will have a lot of problems with Georgia on Saturday. I mean, Arch Manning, yeah, he's been coming into his own these last couple games, and really that Vanderbilt game. But before that, you know, it kind of was up and down, inconsistent. And not to say that he can't turn a new leaf, because he showed that he could do that against Vanderbilt. But I think it's going to be a little tougher to do what he did against Vanderbilt to Georgia, especially if Georgia comes out and is serious and locked in when it comes to starting the game, because we know how that defense can be now. If Arch Manning, if he just having a great day that day and the defense just decide they want to let up, then hey, who knows what can happen? Because hey, we've seen that first half Georgia defense go out there and the only game, I can't say lose games, but put the team in danger to lose games, and you saw what happened in that first half against Alabama. Now, obviously, you know, second half, they didn't allow any points. The fourth quarter against Ole Miss, they didn't allow any points.
For sure.
But those first 3 quarters, it was going back to back like Drake. I just gotta say it. They was letting Ole Miss go back to back. So I mean, like, but we seen how Georgia played against Mississippi State. Now, obviously, you know, there's a disparity between those opponents, but Mississippi State is not as bad as their record entails. Okay. So to see them come out there and put together a full 4 quarters of football, it really was encouraging coming into this game for tomorrow against you'll see it today for the Texas Longhorns, because that is what you're going to need to finish out the season. You want to be able to take that so you can get that momentum not only for the game against Texas, but for the game against your arch rival Georgia Tech on Black Friday. So I mean, you got to go out there. You got to take care of business. Obviously, if Georgia loses, if they only lose one, long as they don't lose to both Georgia Tech and Texas, of course, they're more than likely going to get in the playoff. But Texas, on the other hand, they're literally playing for their playoff lives. So you have to play as if you're in Texas' position. Now, I do believe the Georgia defense will show up for at least majority of the game.
Okay.
And obviously, I've been a full-grown believer in Gunnar Stockton since the beginning of the season. Once I seen how he played against Tennessee and was able to bring that team back after the first half defense, that made me a believer from there. So I believe Gunnar Stockton, he'll continue to be as cool, calm, and collected as he always been, as he has this whole entire season, I should say. And Noah Thomas, that's a nice receiver that you say that can have a breakout game, because I can definitely see that. I expect Nate Frazier and Chauncey Bowens to be used to, slowly wear down that Texas defensive line and then allow Gunnar to have space and open up the playbook. So for my prediction, with all that being said, I'm going to say the Georgia Bulldogs will get the win 38-30.
That's a really good score prediction. I'll give you that. That's a really good score prediction. Well, if Gunnar wins this game, there'll be a lot of traction for Gunnar for Heisman. And if Gunnar plays how well he's done in big games, in big moments, Gunnar's name is going to be a part of the Heisman race. And we all know Gunnar elevates his game when the lights are the brightest. So if he can replicate a similar game like Ole Miss, a similar game like Tennessee, Bulldogs for the win. And that's it, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out Cam's TikTok channel at Cam the Sports Guy. Yes. And we'll see him with more episodes between the both of us. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Y'all have a blessed one.
Shit, yeah.
Yes, sir.